Okay, so we're back. I made a slight little mistake and I see where there was an issue. The one problem I was having was the screw was not long enough to hold, to come have enough thread in order to grab onto the nut. But I noticed in their design that they have a big enough hole where you can actually seat it and you still get enough thread. I didn't see that they had that all set up that way. It took some looking at. Again, these people did a nice job on this design. However, the documentation, it's a little bit there. But I just skewered down the first screw. Now I'm going to get the platform down to the chassis. At least get started. So everything is kind of holding together, and then I could just start throwing in the screws. I'm working on them. Okay, there we go. Now the screwdriver. Tighten down just a little bit. Tighten this guy down. That looks good. Now I got 1, 2, 3 more screws, and the servo unit will be installed. God, that was a pain. What I'm doing here, try squeezing this screw. There we go. Screw fell right in. Get the nut. Damn. Ah! Come here, little nut. No, not you, nut. The actual nut. Again. Ooh, where did you go? I'm doing this kind of off camera so I can get fingers set up to work. God, that thing is going to be a pain. See if this won't grab. Ah, we got it. Oh, I hate those little screws. Alright, so the servo is actually mounted. Now we just need to finish the last 2 screws here. There's one. That's 1 and 2. Finally tonight, the classic moments from the ceremonial congressional swearing-in family photos with Vice President Biden and Speaker Ryan just on. And we're putting in the last one. Now we're just going to tighten it down. Yeah, no screwdriver. And there's our servo. And that's what the ultrasonic sensor is going to be sitting on. So, there we go. Now we switch over to the directions again. And we go down to the next page. And guess what's up? The ultrasonic sensor. Now, these are going to be, have to get that plastic coating or that coating off that, off of here again. So here comes the buck knife, ever so faithful. Came off nice and easy. There we go. And of course this one ripped. But it came off nice and easy. Now, ultrasonic sensor. It's kind of like a sonar in a submarine. It sends out a signal and it receives it, as I stated in part 1. This actually does distance measuring. It can make decisions. Got a ways to go. Let me keep on trucking. I need to start slowing down. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But that's how it works. And I'm trying to make certain. Hand tilt holder. Sonic module. Looks like it goes in just like this. These are going to be some tiny screws. I bet you these are going to be 8mm. One 1.6 by 8. Yep, 1.6 by 8. These are going to be fun. These are going to be worse than the others. Well, that wasn't too bad. Wow. Let's see if we can replicate that 3 more times. Make sure I got it on right. I did. Make sure I didn't have it backwards on the pan tilt holder. Shoot, we're not on the camera, are we? My director's not paying attention. Yeah, that's all she ever does is play her game. I need her directing. Hey, dum-dum, you're not on the camera. Well, click on the camera for me. I didn't call you nothing, did I? Would I do that? Did I do that? Who was that? Steve Urkel. That's right. Be a perfect thing for him. Such a weird dude. He was so cool. Him and his high risers. This is going to be fun. These nuts are stuck together. My eyes are starting to glaze over. It's not good. So when they put these screws in, these nuts in here, 2 of them got stuck together. I'm going to have to pry them apart. Well, I'm going to pop out these 2 little, basically, these tiny little screwdrivers are glasses screwdrivers. Hopefully I don't lose these. Yeah. Oh my God. Ain't gonna work.
And he'll be right back.
So we've got is two screws that have been molded together and won't come apart. Try doing it in the light. I'm going to try bringing a pair of pliers. It just broke apart that easy. I'm starting to like you, Zeero. You're Zeero. Errol. Get your name right too. What did I do with that screw now? Now. Ah, there it is. Give you a heart attack, give me a heart attack. Okay. That's 3. Now we gotta get that 4th in there. I'm sure I didn't use it. Where are you? Just short me a screw? Yeah, it looks like they did. Again, another thing I'm going to have to address in a little bit. But I've got 3 of the 4. I think I lost it. But talk to Elegoo about that later. It will be secure enough on the mount to not wiggle around. Back this off a little bit. Since it might be a little bit too tight.
That's a deeply disingenuous thing for you to say. As a father of a 22-year-old, I can tell you, my child would be happy to buy hip coverage for that incident you refer to. And then my protective eye, we all need coverage that includes pregnancy and maternity care. Breastfeeding coverage, birth control.
Yeah, it's nice and secure. There's the ultrasonic sensor. So, set that aside. We'll switch back over to the directions, and I'll remember to take it off of this. Okay. Now we go back to those pieces that I was talking about earlier. What did I do with them? What did I do with them? Right here. These are different mounting brackets for the servo itself. And it's got a tiny little screw that goes down in the middle. And I'll show you in a second here on the servo. Where is it? Right here, and it goes down on top of here, and a little screw drives down, and then the sensor will sit up on top of it, and there you go. And then it moves back and forth 180 degrees. And there will be calibrating to be done. Not really complicated. When I saw my first calibration, I thought, God, that's going to be rocket science. No, not really. Actually, it's not that hard. But basically set this down here. See? Now, that clip down there. And then we take one tiny screw. What screw is it going to be? A self-tapping screw.
Let's agree on this. So you said your 22-year-old son should not have to pay for maternity care or for the possibility that he may choose to have a child. So you
Choose that one.
an amendment that said you'll cut his premium if he signs a paper that says I will never have children. What do you think about that? Yeah, I think that's the kind of solution we may come up with. Actually, the government telling you how many kids you can have under what circumstances. That's what we want to worry about. Benefit, I can tell. That's where we're going. Thanks for your data tech. I appreciate it. I see. Thanks, Becker. Well, President-elect Donald Trump spent the day in New York City, and that is also correspondent Peter Lucy spent his day.
She's actually starting to look like ARO5. Now,
The intelligence agency that the president-elect says he does not blindly trust. By the way, here's Trump Tower.
Two lights.
A briefing on Friday. America's top spies are going to bring you evidence they have.
oh, I got two lights.
Kosher with Russia,
Oh,
not
cool.
somebody else.
Didn't even know that. At any rate, so the next step is we do need to secure it a little bit. So it doesn't break, not break, but so it doesn't move off of that base that we put on the servo.
These officials were announced as briefers even after the president-elect wrote this online. Quote, the
I get the sucker to self-tap.
was delayed until Friday. Perhaps more time needed to build a case. Very strange. And that's not the only thing that should make Friday.
Don't apply too much pressure.
This too. Julian from Mr. Trump's Twitter account. Julian Assange said a 14-year-old could have hacked Podesta. Why was GMC so careless? Also said Russians.
Not self. It is self-tapping.
Well, that's all I came down to D.C. We saw one key member of the Trump team already scoping out the West Wing today. That's
I found that other screw. It was stuck back in that corner. Where did they go? That went on there. We'll go ahead and take care of that guy real quick while I'm thinking about it. I did not want to leave this. I don't like leaving pieces left over. But I did find a screw that didn't want to be used. I caught him. And yeah. Wrong screwdriver. Come on, cowboy. How did I get two lights already?
There's another side of the story we're watching for so long. What is the other side of the story?
Okay. Alright. So. And he moves around. I don't like that. And as I saw in the previous video, it's not going to be perfect, the alignment, but it will be close. Let's see if I can work on getting this tapped in here. Okay. There we go. Now he's all secure. The servo's ready to start getting to work, measuring distances for me. Those his eyeballs? Kind of. He sees distances. Wife just asked if that was his eyeballs, and technically it is, because that is how he sees on this version. There is a new camera out there that Jaidyn Edwards was talking about and did a review on called the Pixie Cam. And it actually is facial and object recognition. That will be coming on the next, on ARO5's soon-to-be brother. We're hoping soon. But we got to learn from ARO5 first, right? And that's what we're doing. All right, so now we've got the servo mounted. We have mounted the bracket for the ultrasonic sensor. We mounted the ultrasonic sensor and actually found the hidden screw that disappeared on me. So we can move on to the next phase. And the next phase is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. we get to connect the SG90 to the V5 board. What does that mean? Oh, I'm glad you asked. That was a great question. Well, the SG90 is the servo. That's essentially what that is. Now that's going to get connected to the V5 board. And that is it's going to be set up right here. I've got to make sure my eyes are right. Yep. It says SG90 right here. If I get it up close enough, you probably won't see it. The cameras I'm using are actually telephones and cell phones and tablets, but these are the cameras that I'm using, and I notice I'm still got half of my power. Good God, I didn't know it would last this long. Thankful it did, because I would like to finish this on the video. So we want to take the servo, and basically this is a servo wire, and we want to connect it up to this guy. And on the left is ground, middle is 5 volt, I do believe, and then the SG is signal. So we're going to bring this on up, spread this through the circle, and just bring it up, and let's see, brown goes to ground, brown, always. And that was complicated. Oh my God, I don't think I could have done that. Anyway, so that part's done. So, next step is to go over and connect the IR module. So let's connect that IR module. That was this guy we installed way back yonder. I think that was on part 2, part 3. I was having a problem with my fingers trying to get onto the nuts. That sounds bad. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, so we are going to connect the IR module to V5 board, connect the infrared receiver module to the expansion board of the DuPont with the DuPont lines. So these are DuPont lines. I have the connections already made. Now, as I said in part 1, this is where my concern is. Because with these wires, they are set up to be easy for little kids, which is great. However, there was a known bug. Switching pin 10, not getting the pulse width modulation or PWM pin. That was an issue. That being said, I have a little concern that they went down to these easy connects, and I won't be able to fix slowing down that motor without going full bore. But as you can see, I just connected it. And that needs to go up to the infrared sensor right here on the board. Oh my God, Arrow is starting to take form. Alright, and so let's go back. And we get to connect the ultrasonic sensor. And so, ultrasonic sensor is going to be a fairly short one, and there are varying degree ones. By the way, let me check my wiring on that last part. Make sure I got the coloring right. Black, white is the closest. Yep, and it doesn't matter, it's got indentations. Doesn't matter what color those wires are, but I just like to be particular. Okay, and this is a 3-wire on the IR. Nope, we don't want IR. We want ultrasonic. Ultrasonic, 4 black. It's like one of those old black and white movies. Sounds stupid, but... And that is going to go back to the back. It's going to go back here. In that module. Plug this guy in here. There we carefully wet it. You rascally wet it. Just plug it in right there. Now technically I could power him up and the servo would do its initialization. It could read stuff, but it wouldn't know what it's reading. Actually, I don't think it'd read yet, but who's counting? Alright, so we're going to have to clean up all these wires too, eventually. Get some thread ties, and we'll take care of that later so they don't get messed up in the motor and the wheels. Not right now. Oh boy, we get to connect the motor controller. Let's flip over to the directions. We're going to be connecting the motor controller on the bottom part of the frame to the expansion module. And that's going to be this black wire. I'll switch over. But as you can see, we've got the top part where we had the battery and the Arduino and the ultrasonic. And then we have the bottom part, which is going to be the bottom part is with the motors and the motor controller. And what we're going to be doing here is we are going to take this guy, give power, make sure it went on safely and securely, bring it up through the hole, bring it back around, and there you go. That's it. There, that connects the motor controller all the way up to the expansion board. Next step in this parade, starting to move along a little bit faster. Connect the battery box to the L298. Oh yeah, we wouldn't have been able to. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We got a problem here. So bring this down, thread this down here. Did something by accident, but I think it's going to actually end up benefiting me. And that comes down on this guy. Now you notice on the bottom here, and I'm just taking a wild guess, but there are 4 more plugs on the motor controller. I'm guessing those are for the motors. But we will follow directions. And actually I didn't show you in the video there. The ultrasonic sensors. Now remember, those were the wait a minute, this is actually backwards. The ultrasonic sensors, we'll bring it over into the camera mode. The ultrasonic sensors were these guys down here. Okay. Now it wants us to hook those up. And it got labeled 1, 2, 3. And I got 1, 2, 3 cables left. And these are going to have to feed through the bottom, through here, come on up, come back through here, and then connect up into line 1, line 2, line 3. Be careful with this. Okay, so got it labeled like that. It's going to be turn it around, match my diagram. Line 1 is going to be the furthest. If we don't plug these in right, you're going to get false positives coming back to the controller. And the controller will make decisions falsely based on your false positives. If that makes sense.
Republican Congress, obstructionism is now a virtue.
Okay, hold on a second here.
Suggested that he wasn't going to support Barack Obama's agenda and the agenda of the opposing parties. Now it's noble. It's a holy mission. And honestly, there's this thing, have you gone to this where the dreaded normalization? Don't
Okay,
normalize.
so one.
Members of the media are chastising one another. If they even meet with Trump in an off-the-record session or meet with him or his people behind closed doors, they're being chastised by other journalists.
One goes to closest to one.
I don't know, absolutely. Mark Ruby, Chicago man at the New York Times.
From the bottom.
Actually,
that's three.
For their prior approval.
Yes. That's three. Okay, that makes sense. Alright. Just making sure I get my coordination right, then I'll plug the wrong sensor into the wrong plug. So now he's via snap. Literally. Come on. Let loose. I said, let loose. Thank you. Bring up the center module.
Do you think the smartest people go to journalism? Do you think the top 10% of MIT are rushing to our newsroom? It really is. Who wants to be? Who wants to?
Pretty mediocre people.
And another part of it is the pipeline. And the pipeline is
That's the motor. I don't want that one yet.
by old, tired, has-been journalists, for the most part, who are teaching the next generation of
Should be the
journalists.
center module.
It's about the crusade. It's about the cause. It's about the cause. And choose to what Maggie Haberman also at the New York Times political reporter, award-winning. These are all
And we got one more.
of the industry in the United States of America, and they've all been proven to be hacks, and there's no consequence whatsoever. Now,
I'm going to push back on the top of the chassis because I got that ultrasonic sitting there. Trying to be sensitive to that. Get this guy back through the bottom.
Really upsetting video of actors being hostage in Chicago in an Donald Trump and racial epithets. It's a breaking story tonight. 4 on Kentucky Avenue.
And get it up to the top. Plug it in. And we have one more thing to plug into this controller board, and it will be all full. And that is the Bluetooth sensor. But we do stuff in order. But as you can see, Arrow is starting to take form. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with part